Hey there, everybody. Today's lesson is going to be inner conflicts. And then at the end, I'll talk about what assignments you need to be doing. All right, so when we're thinking about conflicts in a story, uh, a lot of times we're talking about like the protagonist and the thing that they have to do. Like in Harry Potter, he's got to kill Voldemort, or Lord of the Rings, he's got to destroy the evil ring. And so there's this whole plot structure, right? This whole kind of quest that they need to do or be or get something. But in our more complex books, they're not just trying to solve these problems. They're usually struggling with something on the inside as well, like an emotional conflict, a social emotional conflict, something about relationships. And these could be a lot of different things. Maybe they're afraid of something. Maybe somebody betrayed them and they have to learn how to trust them again. Or maybe um, maybe they're longing for acceptance and they're not getting acceptance, right? So these kind of social emotional issues are often called inner conflicts. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. All right. So in Paper Bag Princess, we have a really easy example. The outer conflict would be that she needs to rescue Prince Ronald and she's got to defeat the dragon, right? So that's like her quest, right? That's her job. That's what she needs to do. However, at the end, she really struggles with an inner conflict because after she rescues Prince Ronald, he turns out to be a total jerk. And so that's a bit of a struggle for her, right? Like princesses are supposed to marry the prince. But what do you do if the prince turns out to be an idiot, right? And she's got to struggle with that and think that over and think about, what am I going to do? Am I still a princess if I don't marry a prince? How does that really work? And so she kind of has to struggle with that. And then she makes her decision, no, I'm not going to marry him. And she leaves. Okay. Talking about conflict, just to be clear, what is a conflict? In literature, a conflict involves a struggle between two opposing forces, usually your protagonist and the antagonist. All right. Further on, here's our objective. Here we go. I will be able to infer the inner conflicts that my characters are facing. And we usually do need to infer that because they may not come out and say it as directly as they would for the outer conflict. You may need to kind of think about like what are they really struggling with emotionally? Here's the question, right? What life lesson could I learn from the inner conflicts my characters are facing? Because let's face it, like the outer conflicts, we're not going to learn too much from those, right? Like, oh, here's how I need to kill the dragon next time I come across one. Like that's not going to happen. But these characters struggle with like inner conflicts, social emotional things, which we can totally relate to and learn from. So here's another example. Harry Potter. So in book 5, Harry Potter sees into Snape's memories and he finds something there that he wasn't expecting. So let's read this note here. It's not a full-on CERC note, but I think it'll help you get the idea. Harry has to understand that no one is always perfect. There are 2 examples of this. Harry has always been pleased when someone told him that he was a lot like his father. It made him proud. However, when he takes a look inside Snape's memories, he finds that his father was not always perfect and used to bully Snape. He learns that his father eventually grew out of this habit and reformed his behavior as an adult. Another example of this is in book 7 when Harry finds out that Dumbledore used to believe that wizards should actually have better treatment than other magical creatures. Dumbledore as well outgrew this belief and as an adult intentionally showed extra kindness to magical creatures and half-breeds. Overall, Harry has to grapple with the trouble of looking up to these men despite their past mistakes. He struggles with whether he should continue trusting their advice. This reminds me a lot of the recent sexual misconduct scandals on the news. It makes us wonder if one's mistakes can ever be forgiven. And I think this inner conflict that Harry's going through, like, should I still look up to these men even though they've made mistakes in the past, is really relevant for us, right? You idolize some celebrity or some sports star or whatever, and then you find out they've been stealing money or beating their spouse or some other terrible thing. And then you wonder, like, should we still look up to them? Should we forgive them? Should we ignore that this thing happened? Should we hate them forever? How does it work when you realize that people are fallible and they screw up? So Harry deals with this inner conflict. He's not quite sure what to do with it. All right. So on your own, you're going to be considering the inner conflicts of the protagonist in your own story. And you're really trying to focus on kind of emotional struggles, social emotional, right? Dealing with relationships, dealing with fears or things that they're thinking. It shouldn't be too hard, but it's a really interesting part of a book. And it's definitely something we want to pay attention to and not ignore. All right. Summing up, here's your homework and tasks. The first thing that you need to do is to complete that learning survey on PowerSchool if you haven't already. And you sports people, if you could talk to the other people and make sure that they've done that learning habits survey, that would be great. Let me show you where it is. It'll be right here on our welcome page. Over here on the right, it'll say learning habits. And you just click that and it'll show you a survey that looks just like this. It's really simple. You just put in your block and your name. You mark yourself for preparation and give one example and then rinse and repeat. Same thing for engagement and initiative and then for collaboration at the end. All right, that's first thing because I need that because I am working on report cards. So you need to get that done. The second thing that you want to do is complete your reading challenge document and submit it digitally on PowerSchool. A couple people were asking about should we actually submit it because sometimes in social studies you don't. And I realized the document says quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, but I have made some changes. So go ahead and just submit it and I will give you a new document for reading challenge quarter 2. The third thing that you need to do is your homework page for inner conflicts. If you look at the assignment on PowerSchool, you should be able to print out the document, or as usual, you can just write it on paper and draw the boxes yourself. That's totally fine. Since you were supposed to turn in the theme note today, or you can just turn in the inner conflicts and the theme one on Tuesday when you get back. When you guys are done with that, you can spend some time reading your chapter book. And if you have more time, you can totally watch some of our great books that have been made into movies on Netflix. They have Hunger Games, all 4 movies. They have Lord of the Rings. I know Amazon Prime Video has all the Harry Potters. So if you want to go ahead and do that, and you can tell your parents that I told you to watch TV. It's all good. Blame it on me as long as it's good fantasy and that you're actually thinking and using and applying some of these reading strategies that we've been learning to your viewing. So that's a good thing. All right. I believe that does it for me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.